the bustling international terminal, Vanessa Williams, a 32-year-old Harvard-educated attorney, philanthropist, and humanitarian, found herself in a harrowing confrontation. Officer James Reynolds, a 45-year-old security officer with a swagger fueled by his uniform's authority, sneered loudly enough for all to hear that people like her didn't belong in first class, tightening cold metal handcuffs around her wrists one notch beyond necessary, a petty cruelty meant to assert dominance. Vanessa, poised and fearless, met his gaze, her voice steady as she warned he was making a grave mistake he'd soon regret. Reynolds laughed, assuming she was just another black woman he could intimidate, unaware that his career was on the brink of collapse. He didn't know Vanessa was more than her appearance. She was the wife of Malcolm Williams, Skyline Airlines' billionaire CEO, and her arrest would unravel his world. Travelers paused, many recording the unfolding scene as Reynolds' actions, driven by prejudice, set the stage for a reckoning. That crisp autumn morning, Vanessa had prepared for a humanitarian mission to Sudan, packing life-saving medical supplies, antibiotics, vaccines, and equipment for a refugee camp. In her elegant suburban home, sunlight streamed through tall windows as she spoke with Malcolm, her husband of 10 years, whose ringtone brought a smile. Malcolm, once a baggage handler who built Skyline into the nation's fourth-largest airline, ensured her supplies would transfer smoothly in Paris, though Vanessa, humble despite her status, preferred no special treatment. She flew first class today, a rare nod to the long flight, carrying her foundation's ID and a purpose to help the less privileged. A modest sedan driven by a trusted family friend took her to the airport, where excitement and anxiety for her mission mingled. She couldn't foresee that her greatest challenge wouldn't be in Sudan, but here, facing an officer who saw only a black woman he believed didn't belong in first class. At Skyline's check-in counter, the agent questioned her first-class ticket to Paris, connecting to Khartoum, his skepticism hinting she'd made a mistake. Vanessa, familiar with such subtle biases, calmly confirmed her booking, noting the agent's warmth toward a white businessman nearby. At security, Reynolds directed white passengers with priority passes to the expedited lane, but stopped Vanessa, insisting she use the regular line despite her first-class boarding pass. When she politely pointed out the discrepancy, he demanded verification, ignoring her documentation. Vanessa stood firm, observing his pattern of letting others pass unchecked. Supervisor Karen Matthews dismissed her complaint as random protocol, but Vanessa challenged the apparent bias, escalating tensions. Reynolds led her to a public screening area, designed for humiliation, and began an invasive search, scrutinizing her medical supplies with theatrical suspicion, implying her first-class seat and humanitarian work were wasteful or fraudulent. Reynolds' comments grew personal, questioning how someone like her could afford first class. His prejudice laid bare as he said she didn't belong there. Vanessa, noting his badge, called out his inappropriate remarks, demanding a supervisor. Reynolds, enraged at her challenge, accused her of aggression, unclipping his handcuffs and ordering her to turn around. Vanessa, realizing the escalation to false arrest, calmly requested a phone call, dialing Malcolm to report Reynolds' fabricated charges at Terminal B, Checkpoint 7. Reynolds mocked her, unaware Malcolm was Skyline's CEO, rushing from a governor's meeting to intervene. As he handcuffed her, tightening them cruelly, he taunted that her attitude cost her flight, carelessly disrupting her medical supplies, lifelines for refugee children. Passengers recorded, some protesting, including Jamie Ortiz, a Skyline employee who challenged Reynolds, risking her job to defend Vanessa's calm cooperation. The terminal's atmosphere shifted as supervisors received urgent calls, radios crackled, and managers huddled. Matthews, now pale, pleaded with Reynolds to stop, citing orders from the highest level, but he dismissed her. Lieutenant Davis, Reynolds' supervisor, arrived, ordering the handcuffs removed, revealing Vanessa's identity to a stunned Reynolds, who hadn't recognized her as Malcolm Williams' wife, Skyline's founder, whose influence permeated the terminal. As Malcolm entered with executives and legal counsel, his presence commanding, Reynolds' arrogance crumbled. Airport Director Robert Chen scrambled to apologize, but Malcolm, seeing marks on Vanessa's wrists, focused on her safety, furious at the mishandled supplies. Confronting Reynolds, he dismantled his excuses, demanding footage and witness statements to expose systemic bias, not just one officer's actions. Malcolm and Vanessa's story traced back to college. Him, a baggage handler, her on scholarship, building, Skyline, from one plane through grit and fairness, unlike cutthroat competitors. Vanessa's legal mind and Malcolm's operational savvy grew the airline and their foundation, funding scholarships and humanitarian work. Now, Malcolm vowed a public resolution, with Skyline's legal counsel confirming footage showed Reynolds' bias, allowing white passengers priority while targeting Vanessa. Lieutenant Davis suspended Reynolds, but Malcolm insisted on systemic reform, threatening to relocate Skyline's hub, a devastating economic blow. Vanessa proposed body cameras, anti-bias training, transparent complaints, and supervisor accountability, earning Malcolm's support and Chen's hasty agreement to implement them. 6 months later, the terminal transformed, body cameras standard, signs detailing traveler rights, and diverse staff reflecting the public. Reynolds, after suspension and retraining, including 200 hours with the Williams Foundation, transferred to community relations, working to rebuild trust. Skyline's Respect in Travel initiative set a national standard, while Vanessa's foundation tackled discrimination in public spaces, its training adopted nationwide. At the checkpoint again, Vanessa was treated respectfully, spotting Reynolds, now humbled, training officers on engagement. He apologized sincerely, admitting his growth, and confirmed attending her bias seminar. Jamie, now a supervisor with tuition aid, greeted Vanessa warmly, noting Malcolm would join her in Paris. Boarding her flight, Vanessa settled into first class, reflecting on 6 months that turned humiliation into reform. Skyline's slogan, "Everyone deserves first-class respect," adorned the terminal, a testament to changes benefiting all travelers. Her fight wasn't just for herself, but for those silenced by bias, proving strategic influence could reshape systems. As the plane taxied, she felt peace, knowing her mission extended beyond Sudan to a legacy of fairness, ensuring no one would be judged by appearance alone. The terminal faded below, but its lessons endured, a quiet victory for dignity that would guide countless journeys ahead.